Hey everyone, this is Danny fRoD Montaner, and you're here for another EG Pro Tip series brought to you by MSI Notebook. Today I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the many spots and many roles that you can play as an opper that has to defend the inner bomb site on DE train. There's many different angles that you can hold and many different roles that you can implement while you're in the middle of the round. But I'm going to go ahead and break some down to you guys so you understand just the main overall concepts that deal with certain requirements when you're playing such a position where you may be playing by yourself ultimately. So right now I'm going to go ahead and take you in game with my MSI G Series notebook and show you some of the many things that can be done. And the first thing that I want to say is a Z-haul. The reason why I want to talk about this first is because of the fact that if you have any bit of a decent spawn coming out of CT side, it is great for any opper to come over here and maybe take some jumps over the box. If there's no smokes that are running out, you can just hold a small angle for about 5 to 10 seconds as long as there's no noise going on in the map, because you want to try and prevent someone from walking out and killing your teammates from the back. But obviously if there's a team that's rushing and there's smoke grenades being placed everywhere and flashbangs coming out, you're going to end up having to go back bomb train at some point in this round, because they're basically secluding Z-haul and not allowing you to be effective from there. But if you want to take a couple shots during the initial rush to try and help your teammates, one of the good things that you can do is be scoped over here, because sometimes the smoke grenades don't cover this whole little alley fully, and this allows you to see players coming out from team mid onto 6 train. What you can do once you see them on that hitch is stand against the wall and jump up and down a couple times. The reason why this is powerful is because when terrorists are on top of these trains, their focus is not essentially Z-haul first. Obviously, they know that there can be someone Z-haul, but the main objective for them is to clear the top of the trains and make calls for their team. So what you can do is you can stand back here and make a couple jumps, and if you see him, try and shoot through the train. You're going to get a headshot quite often because of the fact that if you shoot through the train, just the way that the angle works, their head should be in that area that you shoot through the middle of the train up here. Now, another good spot to hold is this one right here. The reason why this is very powerful is because you can see the guy that's coming up on top 5 train, and he doesn't really see you just yet. Obviously, if he goes on top of the train aiming at you, he can see a very small angle just like you can see of him. But it goes with the same philosophy as when someone jumps on top of a train, their primary focus is not Z-haul. It's clearing some of the spots for their team so they can go ahead and make a better assessment on the round. But right there, those are just some few basic spots that you can hold from Z-haul to be effective. But last thing that you need to know is if you feel like you're not being really effective and not being able to get many kills, the best thing for you to do is just book it to backside, because that way you can at least help your teammates, whether it be holding the back of the bomb train or assisting them with flashbangs or grenades to help them not plant the bomb. But that's basically it for Z-haul, and right now I'm going to go ahead and show you some of the many spots that you can hold when you're playing the inner bomb site. Obviously, if you're going to be coming from Z-haul and you're going to be coming down to this area, you want to make sure that you can have constant communication with your teammate who should be playing inner by himself. If there's a lot of footsteps that are going on, maybe you want to stay in Z-haul and double zoom through this angle. This is a very strong angle because a lot of times they're not going to be expecting someone to just be holding it. Obviously, teams like to run out through this angle and help defend the inner bomb site, but having someone here posted up with an op double zoom is really effective because teams are not really going to expect that. And when teams rush out the upper ramp, their main objective is to get down that ladder. So even though this may be a tiny crack, you will see them run past your angle and then run right back into your angle. And if not, then you can just wait for them to come on the other side of the pole and kill them. And that will be one of the many spots that complement Z-haul pushing. Another one will be on top of the 3 train. The reason why this is a good spot is because you can be effective from covering both top and bottom. You can do peeks like this where maybe if you don't want to die, you do fast peeks and whatnot. But if your teammate's hiding inner, then you can just take a bunch of quick peeks and then try and change your position after you've maybe been spotted or you've used it a few rounds. And sometimes when I've been spotted and teams like to know exactly what I do since I've been playing for a long time, I like to jump on top of the 2 train because this is in the middle of the bomb site and more of an unorthodox spot because you can get killed and blind from many angles. But if you can get 1 pick or 2 picks from here, then you have a great advantage to the beginning of the round or the middle of the round because you're playing in such a weird spot where you can go ahead and fall down and be safe and cover a whole lane. Whether it be this lane or this lane, the pop lane, you'll be able to take care of covering angles for your teammate while he can be hiding, or even if your teammate gets picked off. These are good spots that you can hold throughout the whole entirety of the round, whether you're playing inner by yourself or not. And obviously playing on the top ramp is really good, but you're just focused on top ramp only. The reason why I don't like playing the spot too much is because of the fact that if you get spotted by someone right here and they throw smoke grenades, you're not going to be able to do anything except take lucky shots through smoke grenade, which is not really going to benefit your teammate. Plus, once they run down the ladder and start pushing up, you're pretty much putting yourself in a really difficult position where you can't really get away and you can't really cut off lanes, which was what your objective should be when you're opping inner, because it allows your teammates to be able to rotate a certain way when you have a certain angle cut off. And now lastly, the last topic that I wanted to go over is whether pushing up is good or a bad idea with an op on the inner bomb site. Obviously, if you have a very good spawn and you can push up all the way top, it's very powerful, because that way you can be pushed all the way up here and be able to spot down the brown hall and white hall to be able to make a call for your teammate. The power of this too is the fact that you don't have to have someone else inner. You can hold this by yourself. It's kind of like the same concept of playing back platform on Dust 2 by yourself. Obviously this spot is better because you're allowed to get away a lot easier than Dust 2, but at the same time you're basically holding down a bomb site with your communication and your gun. You don't even really have to get kills for you to be effective in those types of positions. Now the other good angle to push up is this one right here. You obviously want to stay a little bit after the beginning of this little pop train, because you can double zoom right here, and once teams like to walk across, you can leg shot them or aim a little bit higher to hope that you can get a kill. The reason why I don't like that spot too much either, or pushing up can be negative, is because of the fact that if you miss your shot or you leg shot somebody, they can easily just shoot your feet away until you can run away, and you'll either have no HP or you'll most probably die because of just the fact that they can get easy kills on you. So obviously pushing up with an op is a great thing, but it has many disadvantages, and you want to try to do your best to reduce those mistakes and reduce giving yourself the disadvantage. Obviously it's important that you play certain spots like this every now and then, but at the same time you want to not make it that often, because then once teams know where you're at, you become getting anti-stratted, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to stay alive, which is very important for an opper. But that's pretty much it when it comes down to dealing with the inner bomb site on DE Train. This has been a MSI EG Pro Tips series, and for any more information on MSI and their wonderful notebooks, you can check them out at msimobile.com. And for more information on Team EG, you can check us out at www.myeg.net.